Is Christmas too commercial? 08453 009956. I'd like to speak to you this morning if you think that Christmas is just far too commercial, or the religious message, wishy-washy, maybe you don't believe it, and all you care about is what will be under the Christmas tree in the form of a present. 08453 009956 to join the soapbox conversation. Buy more, be happy. That's the message campaigners are taking to the streets of Birmingham today in an attempt to get you to stop shopping this Christmas. It comes after a survey from Which found half the people in Britain are worried about the cost of Christmas, and it can be astronomical, can't it? 1 in 10 say they cannot afford a tree this year. So is Christmas too commercial? Are we spending so much we're making ourselves unhappy? Andy Pike is one of those campaigning in Birmingham today. Andy, very good to have you on the programme. I hope I've got your surname right.
That's right, it's Andy Pike, yeah.
Andy Pike. Andy, why are you telling people to stop shopping in the middle of Birmingham in the run-up to Christmas?
Well, today is actually the 20th annual Buy Nothing Day, so it's been celebrated for the last 20 years. And for the last 10 years, we've been having a little Santa parade in the city centre with posters that say things like, buy more, be happy, or money can buy you love. So we're trying to challenge people to think about their shopping. We're all shoppers too. It's not really an anti-shopper protest. What the people from Buy Nothing Day say is it's about having a day off from consuming. It's about pausing, taking a deep breath, and think about what we buy, whether it improves our lives, and where the money goes.
What's wrong with our attitude towards Christmas?
Well, I think almost everybody would agree it's become too commercial. What really counts often in people's minds is the cost of what they buy. They think, oh, I'll buy something for my sister and it'll be £5 or £20. People don't think about what is it that somebody really needs. They also don't think about so much about where they buy it from. So for a company, actually, it's much better for them if you buy something that breaks easily, that doesn't last very long, that can't be repaired, because that means you'll be back in another couple of months to buy something else from them.
It may well be tactics on the high street, but Christmas has become about giving. And how can you give if you don't spend?
Well, perhaps, I mean, the whole idea behind Buy Nothing Day is to think, not necessarily to completely, not to buy something for today. And when you do buy, maybe buy things from smaller shops, local shops, because in that case, more of the money will go back into the local economy. It'll help local people, provide more jobs. Whereas if you buy something from a big company, a lot of the money is going to end up in bonuses and directors' salaries. So you'd agree this is an ethical argument as well as a practical argument about our state of minds? Yeah, definitely. I mean, every pound that you spend is like a vote. You're voting either for a company that pays poverty wages and pays out all its money to its directors and shareholders, or maybe you're going to vote for a local company, a local shop to carry on existing, and for them to actually put money into the local community. Andy, what's your motivation? What's your background? Are you a Christian? I'm not a Christian. I guess I'm coming at it from an environmental background. So
right.
There's a lot of waste at Christmas. About, I don't know, maybe something like a third or half of all gifts are actually unwanted. People don't really want the things that people buy them. And that makes people on both sides feel bad. If you give somebody a gift and you see the disappointment in their eyes, or you get something from somebody and you know they couldn't afford it and you didn't really want it, that's bad, you know? That's not the happy Christmas that we're aiming for. I would say that a lot of Christians would agree with you and would say that they get frustrated because what they believe to be the true message behind Christmas, the birth of Christ, has been lost under, quite literally, wrapping paper. Yes, I think so. I mean, I think we all like to think of Christmas as a happy time. We're spending time with family and friends, and that's really what matters. It's our relationships, you know, actually doing something that's nice. You can do that without spending money. You could give a gift that was, say, if you're good at DIY, you could offer to help someone put some shelves up. If you're a great cook, you could say, well, I'll bake you a cake. Or you could give some babysitting vouchers, you know, and just say, whenever you need me, I'll be there for you. So your presents that you give don't have to be commercial. They can be time-based
right.
as well.
Doreen joins the conversation. She's in Erdington. Doreen, hi.
That man says about buying from local shops. You must be crackers. I'll tell you this, at Tesco you can buy 2 tins of Rosie's chocolates for £8, but they want £7.50 in the local shop. Well, am I going to pay £7.50 when I get 2 for £8?
Andy?
Yeah, that's really hard, and the reason that that Tesco's can do that is because they pay low wages, they pay very little tax, and so these are things that need to be addressed by the government and not just by shoppers. But I agree, people have to make their own choices, and we have to be very aware of the commercial pressures on people, because nobody has a lot of money at the moment.
Well, Andy, come on. I mean, there's fair and there's unfair, Andy. You can say that it's about the wages, the suppressed wages of their workers, but actually, if you have a look at some of the findings that have come out from the high street, Tesco's and supermarket workers are paid more than your independent shops. It's because they can buy in bulk.
Yeah, I'm sure bulk buying has a big effect, but there's been a lot recently on things like directors' wages.
Right, OK.
So a lot of money, the average director for a top UK company gets about £2.7 million a year.
Forgive me, Andy, I feel that's a wee bit of a sub-conversation. Doreen,
yes,
would
dear,
you...
I just said about nobody can afford a Christmas tree. Well, you can buy them in the charity shops. You haven't got to have a real tree. You cut your cloth to cut your coat to the cloth you've got. And another thing, I hear people say, "Oh, my grandchildren, they've got everything. I'll give them the money." To be honest, there's a lot of people I'm going to say I'm not buying Christmas presents because you don't know what to buy people today. They've got everything. Yeah, I can go back 40, 50 years. You were glad if somebody bought you a couple of tea towels because you couldn't afford to buy them. There was no cheap goods in the shops like there is today.
My grandmother says that she used to get a pencil for Christmas.
Yeah, we could, because you hadn't got anything then. I remember my mother getting one of my dolls and dressing it all up in new clothes, and I thought it was absolutely wonderful.
I'll tell you what frustrates me, Doreen. It's my birthday on Tuesday this week, and people have been saying to me, what do you want for your birthday? Including my sister. My sister's got... Well, I don't know. Nothing.
There we are. So
nothing.
If you can't say what you want, you must have more or less what you want.
I'll tell you what I want. I want my family. That's all I want, is my family around me. And
What else I'd like?
Yeah. That's all. And the thing is, it's the things, and this probably supports Andy's point of view, it's the things that are basic in life, like family, like love, like, the love of your partner. That's all you want. But there are a lot of people who will associate Christmas with receiving big presents. I've got a friend who's buying a car for their daughter and is going to wrap it all up in wrapping paper. It's going to cost £300 for the wrapping paper alone, and then they're going to rip it off and there's a 15 grand's quite expensive, a 15 grand car underneath.
I remember buying my husband, no, it was quite expensive, when a radio alarm clocks first come out. And like me, we were both heavy sleepers, and I thought, that's ideal, that is. The radio comes on instead of an alarm, And he thought it was absolutely wonderful. And I can remember him by me, and I couldn't think what was in this parcel. And I cried, and he'd had an oil painting done of the dog. And it filled me up a bit, I said, oh, my dog, Well, it wasn't madly expensive, but if you can find something somebody wants, but just to buy gifts for buying its sake, I've come to the conclusion it's a waste of money.
Well, I did some paintings for a friend once for their birthday, and they were meant to look good. It was meant to be of a barn, which they lived in, but it looked so awful that they couldn't even recognise it. So I didn't win out there. Doreen, great to hear your voice. Thank you for your time, love. You take care. Have a cracking weekend.
OK, thank you.
And Andy Pryke, thank you for joining us this morning. Just before I let you go, what kind of reaction have you had from people when you've gone up to them and said, stop shopping?
Well, what we don't do is tell people what to do. What we do is try and make people think. But generally, we get a very good reaction of people. As we say, I've been doing it for 10 years now, and you get an overwhelmingly positive reaction. People and everybody out there understands that buying things isn't the route to happiness,
right?
And that there's more to life. As you say, it's family and friends, and thoughtfulness that counts at Christmas.
Hey, Andy, I'm on the BBC, so I've got to remain impartial, but you know what? I'm going to break that for once and say, hear, hear. Oh, it says on the notes at the bottom, by the way, Andy, that you are the person who's dressing up as Santa Claus, so before I let you go, give us a ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ah, there you are. There you are. Andy, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Tony joins the conversation. Hi, Tony.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, mate.
Good, good. So it's just what that chap said earlier about the reason that Tesco's do this and that and the other is because of all the low wages that they pay. Well, can I just say my wife works for Tesco's, and I'm a professional lorry driver, and she's actually on more money than I am. And the other thing was, what was it, 2 boxes of roses for £7.50 or something?
Yeah.
Who can afford to go and buy 1 box for the same price when you can get 2 for the same price? I mean, the only thing I disagree about, obviously where my wife works, is they have to be open Christmas Eve, they have to be open Boxing Day. It doesn't give the people who work there any time with the families. That's the only quarrel I've got with it.
Do you think we put too much of an emphasis on Christmas, though, Tony? A lot of people celebrate it, and it's about the presents, it's about the materialistic side, and nobody gives a damn about the message that we're all meant to be paying attention to.
Does anybody know what the message is anymore?
What's a fair point?
The kids nowadays, they're not bothered. All they're bothered about is when they're getting the iPhone or what PlayStation games they're going to get. They don't really necessarily know what Christmas is about. It's all too commercialised. I've seen people putting up Christmas trees and decorations just almost the beginning of November. It's ridiculous, really.
Well, when should Christmas start?
Ooh, if it was down to me, it'd be the week before the 25th, and it'd finish the week after.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would say the 24th of December at 6 o'clock in the evening, and then it should finish on Boxing Day at 8 o'clock at night, eh?
Sounds about right.
But, Tony, the elongation of Christmas is, of course, about commercial profit and gain. And one company in particular, if you look at things like Coca-Cola,
Yes.
as a brand, the way in which they've jumped on the back end of Christmas with that advert that everyone likes, the Christmas truck is coming, you know, one with all the lights. It's doing a tour of the UK this year, and thousands of people are expected to flock onto the streets and to go and see Santa Claus and this famous truck. What we forget is it's not about Christmas, it's about the commercial message underneath it. But you can forgive the companies for jumping on the back of it because it's a brand that people love, it's a great experience for the children. Why should we condemn people who enjoy or take part in the commercialised side of Christmas?
I don't think we should condemn anybody. I just think that it's more about money now. It's about how much people can make out of everybody else. It's not about... 20 years ago, I mean, I'm 46 now, 20 years ago, it was totally different. I don't know if that's just because we're getting older and it's instead of it being more of a Merry Christmas thing, it's more of a commercial thing now as you get older. I don't know the answer, to be honest.
Tony, really good to hear your voice. You take care.
Cheers, thank you.
Safe driving in your truck. Mike's in Digbeth. Hi, Mike.
Hello, mate.
Do you work for the supermarkets?
My wife does.
Do you know what I find
my
really...
wife is typical of many people who get Christmas Day off, but if it's in the week, you have to take that as a day's holiday. If your working day is Boxing Day, you have to work it. You only get straight pay. Then I walked in the doctors yesterday, and I noticed they shut the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, the 27th, so God help you if you're ill.
Well, they used to play football on Christmas Day, and you'd have the baker and the butcher up in the morning. It's now become this day where nobody works, but it's also a bit of an excuse for taking 2 weeks off over that period.
Don't. I'm self-employed, and it cripples me.
Really?
Because for years, the big factories, I would do contracts over Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't want a week off in the freezing cold in the middle of nowhere just to appease the Scots for New Year's Day, which is all it was done for. No, it was. When I was a young man, we had Christmas Day and Boxing Day, and that was all we had. And that's how it should still be.
Mike, you're close to me calling you Ebenezer Scrooge. Now,
No, I don't mean it in that way. I want to take my holidays when I want them.
Fair enough.
Because somebody enforces me to take 10 days off unpaid over Christmas.
Well, do we make too much out of Christmas, Mike?
Yes. No. It was, to me as a kid, special. By the time we got rid of bonfire night, then you'd have Uncle Ollie turning up at Lewis's towards the end of November. There would be thousands of kids and adults out in the street to see Santa turn up around about the 10th, something like that. But the stuff wasn't in the shops in August.
Maybe it's just...
I don't know about you, I've got as far at the minute as buying one Christmas card.
Well, do you know what? I haven't even bought my first Christmas present, and I haven't even bought my first Christmas card. So that's how far behind I am. Mike, stay where you are. Brian's going to join the conversation in Yardley in a moment. First, Mark's in Tamworth. Hi, Mark.
Hello there, chap.
Look, Mike is really moaning about Christmas, saying that it's not what it was, and that it's elongated. It goes on for too long. It's too commercial. Would you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like you said about with the stuff going on in August and all that carry on. I mean, even adults have lost the plot now, mate. I'll tell you, we've lost the old what it's supposed to be about Christmas. You know, the whole thing about Jesus being born and all the rest of it. I mean, I'm not a fuddy-duddy. I don't go to church all the time. But I tell you what, I've got 3 children. They're grown up. My youngest is 18 now, and they want everything. And you just get buried into that, and you just keep paying out. But when you come to my age now, I mean, I'm only 44, and I'll tell you what, the biggest present I had last year was going down to church, and actually, you know, for the midnight mass.
Yeah.
And listening, what an uplifting experience.
If I said, Mark, what would your ultimate present be? What would it be?
Family. I think that's what Jesus means, isn't it?
How can you get that message across to people, especially now? I mean, think about the conversations that we've been having this morning. We started off with the strike, and I think we heard quite a lot of pain on the programme this morning from people saying there is good reason to strike, and others saying, wait a minute, you're crippling us with this strike on Wednesday. It was a pretty balanced discussion. So when we're in an austere time, when we've got the chance of a double-dip recession, how do you get through to people that gifts, the commercial side of Christmas, really just doesn't matter?
Well, I think it's the same for everybody now. I mean, everybody's got to pull the belt in, and understanding that, you know, going out and spending what you haven't got. I mean, I've done that time and time again, and it's the misery that it causes after, because you've still got to pay for it.
This is Rachel on the text. Christmas. People can choose how much or how little they get caught up in the commercial side of Christmas. As for me, I am content with carol singing, buying gifts for the under 10-year-olds in the wider family, and donating to charity. Also going to church on Christmas Day and having the family over for dinner. It's what I really enjoy doing. That's from Rachel. Rachel, thank you.